Top 5 most frightening kidnapping cases ever. In its broadest terms, kidnapping is the act of abducting someone and holding them captive. The people in this list are just a few of those who suffered the bitter fate of being kidnapped, for some or no reasons at all. Sad to say, some of these real-life kidnapping cases ended in death. Here's 5 of the most frightening kidnapping cases ever recorded in history. Number 5. The Niigata girl confinement incident. Fusako Sano is a Japanese woman who had been kept locked up for 9 years and 2 months by a mentally disturbed and unemployed Japanese man named Noboyuki Sato. From November 13, 1990 to January 28, 2000, the girl, who was 9 years old then, was locked upstairs in Sato's house. She was tied up in the first several months and constantly being threatened with a stun gun whenever she attempted to escape. Sato also allegedly beat his victim on a regular basis, especially when she did something wrong. Interestingly, Sato's mother lived downstairs, but she reportedly had no knowledge of what was going on in her son's place. When Sano was rescued, she was found to be in good health, albeit very thin, pale, and weak due to the lack of exposure to sunlight. Although she was already 19 years old at the time of her rescue, Sano appeared to still act like a child. Number 4. Colleen Stan's run-in with a sadist family. Colleen Stan was a victim of kidnapping and rape by Cameron Hooker in Red Bluff, California in 1977. It was done with the help of his wife, Janice Hooker. Stan, who was hitchhiking the day she got abducted, felt at ease getting into Hooker's car when she saw his wife and baby on board. Not long after she climbed into the car, the couple pulled out a knife on her. Stan was then taken to a remote area and forced to get inside a wooden box with only a tiny hole for her to breathe. Hooker, a sadist, used Stan as his sex slave and often beat her when he felt it so. This ordeal lasted for 7 freaking years. Stan eventually managed to escape, surprisingly with the help of Hooker's wife. The trial for Hooker's crimes began in 1985. The man was later found guilty and given a 104-year prison sentence. According to the FBI, who looked into Stan's case, the kind of torture the victim had suffered was nothing like they had encountered before. Number 3. Elizabeth Smart's marriage to a prophet. Elizabeth Smart was only 14 years old when she was kidnapped from her bedroom in Salt Lake City, Utah, by Brian David Mitchell, a man who claimed to be a prophet called Emmanuel. Mitchell performed a bizarre marriage ceremony, claiming Smart as his new wife. Both he and his wife, Wanda Barzee, held the teenager captive for 9 months. Throughout the whole time, Mitchell raped Smart on a daily basis and was being forced to consume alcohol and smoke marijuana. The victim was also made to believe that Mitchell was indeed a prophet. Smart was finally rescued after a couple of witnesses recognized Mitchell and Barzee in an episode of the show, America's Most Wanted. Her captors were eventually captured and put on trial. Barzee received a lighter sentence for her collaboration with the authorities against her husband. Mitchell, meanwhile, is currently serving his 2 life sentences. Smart later on became a published author, with her book called My Story, which details the horrors of her kidnapping. Number 2. The real-life Buffalo Bill. Buffalo Bill is a character from the 1991 movie The Silence of the Lambs, and was played by the actor Ted Levine. The film's antagonist was actually inspired from a real-life serial rapist kidnapper, John Jamelski. According to records, Jamelski had kidnapped several women and young children from 1988 to his capture in 2003. He held them all captive in a bunker he lovingly called the Dungeon, located beneath his home in DeWitt, New York. Jamelski, a former real estate investor, raped each of his victims on a regular basis while they were being held captive. He would also torture them when he felt like doing it. The youngest he abducted was a 14-year-old Latina girl, and the oldest was a 53-year-old Vietnamese refugee. His eventual arrest led to the discovery of several video recordings showing his usual routine with the victims. In one of the tapes, it was found that Jamelski would lead a Bible study before raping the women. Jamelski is currently serving a jail term of 18 years to life. Number 1. Patty Hearst, in the Symbionese Liberation Army. The kidnapping of Patty Hearst is probably one of the most publicized cases in American history. She happens to be the grandchild of William Randolph Hearst, a prominent American politician during the 1950s and a media mogul. But more than her lineage, the events that happened after her abduction made Hearst's case a very controversial one. Hearst was only 19 when an armed group called the Symbionese Liberation Army, SLA, kidnapped her from her apartment in California in February 1974. SLA's leader, Donald DeFries, initially demanded millions of dollars worth of ransom, but soon realized a much better use for their victim. The group brainwashed Hearst into becoming one with the group and was given a new name. April of the same year, a video of an SLA bank robbery revealed Hearst leading the operation. The following manhunt operation ended with the death of DeFries and 6 other members. Hearst was still missing. She was eventually caught in 1975 and sentenced to 7 years in prison. President Jimmy Carter severed the sentence to 22 months, although she has to remain under probation after the term. President Bill Clinton later granted her full pardon in 2001. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe to our channel for more videos like this.